like I do with 90% of my looks, is begin by gluing down your eyebrows. And you have to pull faces, it hides your eyebrows even better, guys. So I'm going to begin by creating the white base on the face, and I'm using the KRYOLAN Supracolour in white for this, and I'm just beginning to create the shape. If you wanted to, you can take an eyebrow pencil first, or any makeup pencil, and you can actually sketch out the lines first. But for this I was really in the mood to just wing it and see what happened. Once you're happy with the skull-like shape, you then want to fill in the rest of your top face with a beauty blender. Just make sure the white is nice and even and it's not patchy. For the eyebrow areas, I'm just using a paintbrush so I don't accidentally lift off the glue. For the eye areas, I'm using the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk because I feel like it's got a thicker consistency, which is great for adding eyeshadow. Even though I didn't have a clue what I was actually going to do with the eyes next, I just kind of put it on in case. Okay, so taking some eyeshadow, you then want to start forming some thick, evil looking eyebrows, and I'm using a small angled brush for this. I believe I was using the NYX Ultimate Brights eyeshadow palette for this. I'm starting off really small and I'm using only a small amount of product, and I'm just lightly sketching out the shapes. Taking a more regular eyeshadow brush, I'm then starting to shade underneath the eyebrows, I guess you could call them, and at this stage it's just a matter of building up really slowly using a small amount of product layer by layer. And for colours wise, I'm using blue obviously, and whatever colour you use, like say for an example you were using pink, you'd want to use a kind of middle pink, like not too light and not too dark either. Like I'm using a sort of babyish blue, so later on I can add on darker blues and possibly lighter blues as well. So it's kind of like the middle colour. As you can see, I've added some colour to the cheekbones already, and you want to start going in your forehead as well and just start creating a circular shape. And as you can see here, I'm already starting to introduce some darker colours as well, and you want the darker colours to be more closer to the edge, if that makes sense, because that's where the shadow would hit. And then you can switch back and forth and go back to your regular blue. Just keep messing around and playing, building up until you get the desired look. And as you can see, I've already gone into my forehead as well and done the same thing as I did underneath the brow. Moving on to the eyes, I decided to go for a lime metallic green, and I'm using the Kat Von D Electric Warrior for this. Taking your brush, you want to apply some product and just pat it on gently, and again build your way up. So with the lime green, I'm kind of flicking it upwards to create a nice winged looking shape. Now I'm using a small detailed brush and some pink face paint, and I'm just creating a line above the lime green. Now taking some eyeliner, I'm using the NYX Epic Ink Liner. You want to create a wing. I'm making this slightly curved up, and I'm also making it quite large and dramatic. Once you're happy with your eyeliner, you're then going to take another eyeliner and then line on top of the eyeliner with a white eyeliner using the NYX White Eyeliner. Damn, you could have worded that better, man, but you know, I'm just going to stick to that. You get me, you understand. Enough of that, we're moving on to the nose. So I'm going in with a black face paint, and this time I'm using the KRYOLAN Supracolour in black. And I'm just creating the shape of a nose, which is kind of like some evil skeleton nose. Bouncing right back to the eye, I'm going in with a black, and I'm just creating some smoky looking line coming down from my eye. And I believe I got the inspiration from the eyes by a person called Is She Hungry on Instagram. So you really want to create a sort of S-shaped, smoky, wiggly line coming from the centre of your eye. Moving on to the rest of the face, so I'm going to be going in with the white, and I'm creating some giant spiky teeth, and it kind of looks, at the moment, it kind of looks like there's drips coming down my cheeks. Now I'm going in with some red, and I'm just creating the bottom jaw or the gums. As you can probably see, I've left some gaps in the red, and this is so it leaves me room to add some highlight later on, because if I was to paint the whole thing and then add the highlight on top of the red, I feel like the white wouldn't shine as much as it could. So you got to keep in mind where you want to add the creases and where you want to add the raised areas. And then once you've got all your shapes in place on the face, you can then go ahead and take a black and fill in the rest of the face, and this is the parts that are going to disappear into your black background. Moving on to the teeth, I'm taking just a tiny amount of product and a very small brush, and I'm just gently mapping out where I want the teeth to be. And I say gently because I don't want to go too heavy straight away, because you want to build up first, and if you make mistakes you can easily remove this. So I tried to create some human-ish like teeth, and once you're happy with the shape you can then take the brush and just create lines going upwards, and this is going to sit in between the grooves of the teeth. Once I was happy with the shape, I just kept on slowly building it up and thickening up the lines, and I went in with a small eyeshadow brush as well and added just a little bit of shadow. And as you can see, I'm just fixing up the rest of my face, going back in with the blue eyeshadow and the darker colours, and I'm just starting to really create some depth and life. So I'm contouring the nose and I'm adding a lot more colour to this now, and I'm almost painting with an eyeshadow, if that makes sense. The face isn't exactly complete yet, but I'm going to be moving on to the body, and taking some blue face paint I'm just starting to create some curvy shapes. By the way, if you'd like to know exactly what products I used in this video, I've left a list in the description box below. Once I've created the basic shape and swirls along the bottom of my chest, I'm then going in with some red and I'm creating the gums very similar to what I did on my face. I feel like these looks are really difficult to explain, but to describe what I'm doing is just basically adding the basic shapes without adding any detail just yet, and just figuring out where I want things to be. So at the moment it does look like I'm just doing some random shapes and lines here, but later on you're going to see how it's all going to build up. Jumping right back onto the face, I've actually rubbed a little bit off where the black was painted because I decided I wanted to have a tongue. So I'm going in with some kind of like a lime green colour and I'm just filling that in, and I've rubbed a bit off the gum as well, and I'm making the tongue so that it's going down onto my body. I think at this point I was still figuring out what the hell I was actually going to do with the body, so I just kind of bounced back on the face and started creating some shadows and highlights. So taking some black eyeshadow, I've shaded underneath the tongue and also in the middle of the tongue as well, and this is going to bring it a bit more to life and make it look 3D, and it almost gives the illusion that the tongue is in front of the gums as well. Think about where the light is coming from on your piece, and this is going to help you determine where to place the shadows. For the monster gums, I've kind of wanted to give the look that it was creased on the gums, so I've gone in with some white and I've added highlights to where I wanted the raised areas to be, and for the creases I've gone in and added some black eyeshadow, and this is going to bring them back. I feel like the white highlights are actually quite important. They really do change the whole entire look, and it also gives the impression that the gums are almost wet because they're reflecting. Bouncing right back onto the body, I'm starting to create holes within the middle of my chest, and I decided I wanted to create the tongue so that it was weaving through these holes. Exactly like you did on your face, you then want to create some monster looking teeth on your chest as well. So I'm creating some that are a bit more human-like and some that are a bit more spiky. Going back with the lime green, I'm then creating the tongue. So first I'm creating the illusion that the tongue is going to be going over the hole, and then for the second part of the tongue I'm creating the illusion that it's gone underneath the hole. Once you're happy with all your shapes, you can then go ahead and fill in the rest of the body with black. And of course the pieces you colour in black are going to be the bits that will disappear. And then you can take the white eyeliner or a face paint and you can start highlighting as well. Exactly the same as you did on your face. Once again, I'm just taking a small eyeshadow brush and I'm just running this in the middle of the tongue. This is going to create the illusion that it's got a little bit of a fold in the middle. This step really changes the way it looks. Now I'm going back in with some blue eyeshadow and I'm just applying this to the plain areas. This is going to bring the piece to life and also make it look a little bit more 3D. And then I think I did this off camera, but I went back in with the white eyeliner and I just applied some dots and stars just to give it a bit more of a magical feeling. And finally, I know I probably should have done this first, add your contact lenses. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hoped you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. If you ever recreate my looks, please tag me on Instagram at gothspectrum. I would love to see them. You can apply this to any kind of monster you create, any colour, any shapes, and literally any design you like, and this is just kind of the basic principles of how to do it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, a comment, and feel free to hit the subscribe button, and also follow me on Instagram at gothspectrum. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again.